barflies of all ages. Now they call me Ace Trainer Argent, and I am here to welcome you to the bar of the Blerds. Now I am just one of our mighty team right now, and as you can see, we have an extra player here. Now this man, I have to say, I would not be here without this man. Lando Calrissian, incarnate, okay? Came back around. Chris, talk to of Bro Axiom. You know him. You love him. Chris, talk to the people, man.
What's going on, y'all? It's good to be here. Good to see you, brothers. How's everything going?
It's going. In here. It's going. But yeah, I'm just one of your. I'm one of your regular hosts. We have our guests, and now I'm going to kick it to the Lord of the Shadows, the man himself, Kage.
Yo, you already know who it is.
Tell him who it is.
Hailing from the land of Sake, Shinobi, and Samurai, the boy is Godzilla personified. No other name but this to go by. It's your boy, Jayhawk. Let's go. And also, right. We also have one more person. You know who he is. You came to hear him talk about it. He got notes for it. Please, let the people know who you are.
Oh, you already know who it is. It's Big Dan.
Mm-hmm. Big Dan.
Rodan. Coming at you live from the 215, the comical connoisseur, sommelier of sci-fi and superheroes. Here to welcome you to another episode of the Blerd Bar. That's right, a.k.a. Big Dan. a.k.a. this body was brought to you by pizza. A.k.a. Daddy Duty 24/7 Big Dan.
Damn, I did not come prepared. I was like, "Hi, I'm Chris. How you doing?" Came with the shit.
I mean, no, but your reputation speaks for itself, man. Like, I really mean it. I wouldn't be here without you. Like, the face of comics to me is you. It's Randy. It's Keo. It's Joe. Like, you guys facilitated and created an environment where I felt welcome. I was in Atomic City. One of my favorite memories, actually, was I came back from undergrad, and I was like, Chris, do you realize I've been coming to the store for like 10 years? And you were like, yeah, man, I seen you. I know.
Breathe.
But yeah, definitely wouldn't be here at the Blerd Bar without you. I can't thank you enough. Got to give you your roses, thank you, your props.
Thank you.
But how we doing, gentlemen? We're not going to jump right into it. Let's talk about what's going on in our corners in the multiverse. Jayhawk, how you feeling, man? I see you over there.
Yo, man, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I got me some black and gold. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be sipping on that
classic
bottle. I do have a glass. I'm not that ratchet. But
no judgment. It's been a long week. It's been a long
week. That would be very Hadomaru of me if anybody knows Samurai Showdown. But no, I'm doing great. I'm feeling good. Just saw Shang-Chi, and you guys will hear about that soon. So I'm just going to pass it on over. How do you feel, Dan?
It's been a week, man. At the
it's
end
literally
of the day,
Monday.
I'm here. No. Don't ever tell them what day it is, because that don't help us. You just tore away the veil. You just like, it's Monday. All right. It's been a week, and it's been Monday. So, you know what I mean? And we go back to work tomorrow. So, that's another thing in and of itself. Working in IT, and you come back on the next day, God help us.
There's going to be so many passwords forgotten. Everybody put up a prayer.
Yeah.
I mean, by the time you see it, it's too late, but put up a prayer anyway.
Right. Praying hands
one share is one prayer for Daniel. Let's get this shared. Let's
one share for one prayer.
Make
it a t-shirt.
Yeah, one share, one prayer.
Chris, what's going on? What's going on with? Oh, sorry, buddy.
No. I was going to pass it around. Yeah.
Yeah, Chris, what's going on? You and Bro Axiom, how you feeling, man? Thank you again for joining us.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me, man. Bro Axiom's going good. We have our Sunday night live show called Shooting the Poodoo. Poodoo is a Star Wars reference. Can I cuss on here?
Yeah.
You try to be family friendly.
I got you. Well, poodoo it's excrement. So we're shooting this.
Shut your mouth.
We're shooting that. Wednesdays. Yeah, Wednesdays we put out a a Star Wars comics preview show called Quick Shots of Bro Axiom, where we preview the show. We try not to spoil or anything like that. Our goal is to get people hyped to go out to the comic shops and buy the Star Wars comics.
Nice.
So we're doing that. We're about to do a gaming channel. We've got a Star Wars easy listening podcast from our dudes who are also local called the Star Bros Podcast. They handle that. So yeah, a lot of things going on, and you know, things are starting to really pick up for us, and yeah, things are going really good.
How's this bounty hunter event going on right now for you?
Oh man.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
I love it. I love it. I don't know if y'all are reading the Star Wars comics, but it is.
I am. You know.
So are you up to date?
I'm up to date. I'm
okay.
Maybe behind on the. I didn't read the last Star Wars issue.
Okay.
And read the event.
Okay. Read that. Read.
Gotcha.
Do that.
Please read that.
Matter of fact,
yeah,
do that right now.
Yeah, it's really picking up. I'm about to do a review of War of the Bounty Hunters #4 that comes out on Wednesday, and it's amazing. But yeah, I'm loving what they're doing. Like, I know it's called War of the Bounty Hunters, but I'm just like, give me whatever you got going on with Kira and Crimson Dawn. Like, I need to know everything that's going on. Like, and what they did with this series, what Charles Soule did, and he's a writer of the books of this particular series. He put so many eyes on the comics, which has been sorely needed as far as within the Star Wars community, because everyone is very much visually, that's how they know Star Wars as far as the live action or even the animation. So a lot of people are reading it, but not enough, I think, people are reading them. And what they did by bringing Kira back and putting her on this book, Kira from who was Han Solo's love interest from Solo Star Wars story, bringing her in brought so many eyes to the Star Wars comics, and that really hyped me up, and I'm so glad, because it's needed. Because truth be told, and I think I've said this before and I almost got punched in the face by someone, but a lot of the comic stories to me are better than the movies.
Ooh, talk about it.
You know what? I'm glad you said that. Now, before I forget, Charles Soule also doing the writing on the High Republic. Great job. Really enjoying that as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But all right, with that, I think that's a great point to start our episode. Who? Key in. Failed Finn. Who failed Finn? So here we're going to be talking about the character Finn, as portrayed by John Boyega, who I look nothing like. When episode 7 came out, people were like, oh, you look exactly like that dude. I'm like, we have one similarity.
Right, but you know, we all.
You know why, right?
Why. We know. But I think the general consensus, now, everybody can feel free to leave a comment in the comment section if you think I'm bugging. But general consensus is we as the black community, we as the Blerd community, think they could have did something else. So I definitely want to open the floor with this question. What were we expecting? What were we looking for that we did not get?
All right, before they go in, because I know they're going to go in.
Dan and Chris both got level 3 supers already.
Right. I think that is the perfect question to ask, but also I'm also thinking of like Shang-Chi trauma, but also with Finn, what were we expecting? But what were we? It's almost like, what were we told to expect because of marketing?
Exactly.
Oh, what you saying? So you saying they don't actually care about how they write the characters and they just market to a specific group of people? Come on now, baby. Come on.
I mean, no. After this, I'm gonna let them go. I'm just saying, it's what were we expecting, and it's like that's one way to word that question. But what were we primed to expect from certain trailers, right? So, go ahead.
Just like I'm done. Don't look over here.
I will let the guests go first, just because I'm already on it. So,
Dan, do not choose violence, please. I beg of you.
Oh, I'm on it tonight.
All right. Let me preface by saying I've been there since the beginning when it comes to Star Wars. I'm 46. I was born in 75. Shit came. The show came. The movies came out. It's my bad. The movies came out in 77. Whereas it didn't bother me so much as a little kid going through it, watching them, and up to 8 years old with Return of the Jedi. When I started watching them again, I'm like, wow, we like all the while my family was like, as far as Darth Vader goes, he's black. Up until they took his man. He's black.
Really?
He is physically black. Like,
he's physically black with that, and in James Earl Jones' voice. I'm like, my dad always used to say, that's a bad dude. I'm like, yeah. I mean, that was, the Vader was that. He was that dude. So as far as I'm concerned, we had him, but officially, we had Lando. And I think Return of the Jedi, they were like, oh wow, we have the stars. And listen, this is not me crapping on. Like, I love, what Lucas has done. I love Lucasfilm. I love Star Wars, man. It's like it's in my DNA. I can't. There's no hate, but. They were like
the background.
They were like,
if you didn't know,
yeah. But they were, by Return of the Jedi, they were like, oh, there are other people in this world. We need to sprinkle some more people, like as far as rebel soldiers in the background, that sort of thing. There was one shot where they showed like this. There's one shot in Return of the Jedi where there's in two shots. There's this in the X-wing pilots or in a Y-wing pilot. There's a black pilot and there's an Asian pilot. Mm-hmm. If you go back and watch that movie and you watch that battle with the Death Star 2, they get offed in two shots back to back. Boom, boom, done. And I was like, oh.
That's like, they wanted to prove that they were there. That's what it was.
Yeah, they're there. Get them out of here. That's and then the prequels came along, and we had Sam Jackson. And of course it's going to, there were a lot more, non-white characters in there, but they were, tertiary characters. You know?
Mm-hmm. Not centralized.
So when, the announcement for Force Awakens came along, and it was rumored that John Boyega, I'm like that kid from Attack the Block. I'm like, yeah, here we go. And then, we started seeing, I'll say when that first little teaser came out, he's the first thing that pops up. I was like, here we go. That's what's up. And then you find out later on, he's going to have the Skywalker lightsaber. I didn't know what to do with myself. I was so excited. I'm like, here we go. He's got the Skywalker lightsaber. He's a main character. He's a main character. As Lando was like a secondary character, Mace was like a tertiary character. Mm-hmm. Finn is a main character with the lightsaber. And I was like, I cannot believe this is happening. This is stuff I would do when I was playing my Star Wars figures as a kid. I made Lando a Jedi. I gave him like a lightsaber. This is my guy. So I was like very, very happy leading up to this movie. I was like, I can't believe this. This is great. We get a main character, blah 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 blah. Then more stuff for Rey starting to come out, and I'm like, okay, all right. She, I saw like a certain part of the fan base like cling to her and didn't really give a poodoo about about Finn too much.
The word of the day is
poodoo. So throughout the trailers leading up to. And when this movie came out, you see Finn igniting the lightsaber. Like I said, I didn't know what to do with myself when I saw that. I was beside myself happy. The movie came out. Went to go see it. Now, let me preface by saying I still loved this movie. But there was a certain point in it where I was like, I turned to my friend Mike Roker. I was like, yo, this is all about her, isn't it? It's all about
gotcha.
Got him.
I was like, because all right, so they had him as Finn had just as much a compelling story as Rey did, just as much of a mysterious past as Rey did. And I think when I think about it, even a more compelling story because he's a stormtrooper who defected.
I was literally about to say, if not more.
Right, and like why did he like? Why did he defect? How? Because he's, they're taking his children, the First Order stormtroopers, and they're indoctrinating. Right. Mm-hmm. So how did he break that indoctrination? And part of me, when I first see the movie and he's about to fire on these people or something, and he takes off his helmet, I'm like, this is the Force working right now. This is the Force working with this kid.
Won't the Force do it? Won't they want to do it?
What you're not going to do is get us canceled by the church community, okay?
Look at the Force.
So, yeah. So, like, I was like, okay. So, I'm like, all right. He's got this Force thing, but they made him so like just scared the whole time, and he started to become like this goofy comic relief. I'm like, what are y'all doing? Like, what is happening?
Oh no,
right now?
no, don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm like, come on now. They showed a glimpse of him being Force sensitive when they were on Takodana, and right when the First Order destroys the seat of the New Republic, and he looks up to the sky and notices it's like he hears through the Force. He can hear like the screams and the anguish of people with that entire system. I was like, there we go. All right, here it is. All right. Then I'm like, nah. Maz gives him the saber. He fights with it. He gets beat up by another stormtrooper. Has to be saved by Han Solo. And then it's all like, the movie made me mad. It made me mad in the point of, I'm like, Rey got everything. Like, I love the Rey character. Mm-hmm. She got everything. She got like the lion's share of the Force. She got the saber. She got the Millennium Falcon. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I felt like I felt a little, I'm about to use that word, bamboozled a little bit when it comes to
led astray.
Run amok. I just feel like I was there's doing red herrings, and then there's something like this. This is like, that was kind of like in bad taste, I think, as far as like a red herring goes, because you got a section of the fan base head over heels, overjoyed that we have a black lead, and that lead is going to be a lightsaber wielding, not necessarily a Jedi, but just a lightsaber wielding Force user, and they didn't do it, and they gave it all to Rey, who's also a great character. I'm not even hating. I love the Rey character, but I felt a little. I guess betrayed is a good word. By all that, yeah.
I have 2 questions, but I'm going to wait until after Big Dan goes.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna keep it short because he really explained how I think the journey for most Black Star Wars fans was, right? However, I saw the trailer, did the same thing, but almost kind of felt like they already had us over a barrel. I was like, something's wrong.
Oh yeah,
I got a bad feeling about this.
The moment you see him with the lightsaber, I was like, maybe is it? I was like, if we're gonna do it, then do it. But
right.
I was like, something's up with Daisy Ridley. Like, they didn't go for a no name when casting Rey. Like, Daisy Ridley was she was still like sophomore about it as far as her movie career, but you saw her enough to know that they're not bringing me these names for no reason.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So Oscar Isaac, it was minute. It was considered minute, but she was doing movies, right? Like, she was doing movies for a minute. And John Boyega, it was just very much like, they were like, "Hey, Black Star Wars community, we got you something."
Look,
and I was like,
"Let me get that vote."
Right. And Disney at this time was very much about being diverse, and so that's just Disney's thing sometimes, that they gotta just be like, hey, we know that like Walt Disney was a Nazi sympathizer, but we're not those people anymore, so and that's kind of how I felt. Mm-hmm. Watching the movie, I was kind of like, yep, kind of saw that coming. I felt it. I was like, there's no way that there's this many Force users. Mm-hmm. Also, I was one of the people who read the books from the expanded universe and was hoping that a lot of this was going to tie in, or they want to be smart with how they kind of did it to tie it in, and they didn't. And so because of that, I was just kind of like,
Well,
was
I mean, I think they needed to do that because I think they needed to. First of all, we wouldn't have Chewie if they stuck to the EU. You know, like he'd have been done. But there was so much reading as far as that goes, where people would have to do a whole bunch of studying and whatnot before they could even go forward.
Yeah.
So they had to, I think, eliminate the EU and then cherry pick what's going to go in there, just so they can round out how they're going to do their. I'm sorry to cut you off, homie.
No. So I mean, when you say how I felt about the marketing, I was excited, but I also was like skeptic because I kind of knew going in, we don't get like if there's only one of us, if you don't see a bunch of us, somebody getting done in. If you only see one of us somewhere, they're normally not safe for the rest of the movie, whether it be emotionally or physically. That's it.
Yeah.
Where two or three are gathered, that's a different story.
Yeah.
I thought we weren't doing the church thing, man. Are we doing the church thing?
I'm trying not to do the church thing.
But I think you guys hit the nail on the head. I dared to dream, but to set all of what I'm going to talk about going forward, I went into the sequels wanting something new. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. Bad move. So I set myself up for disappointment about wanting something new for them to do. And this is not even related to Finn. This is just in general of what the sequels were going to be. So I dared to dream. He had the lightsaber, and I was like, wow. But as soon as Rey touched it, and I was like, oh, no, there it is. there it is. But ultimately, okay, so going forward, we covered how we felt about it going forward. Now, I think the hard part is, and Chris, this ties into what you were saying about other forms of media of Star Wars. Like, unfortunately, most of the storytelling people are exposed to is going to be the movies, right? And they carry this challenge of every Star Wars movie has to have this is a Star Wars movie thing. This is what makes a Star Wars movie, right? And we never saw a dual protagonist. You can make the case that Anakin and Obi-Wan in the prequels, but we never really saw a dual protagonist of two people new to the Force, two people on the Padawan journey together, So we talked about what we started with, where we're going, and how do you think we got here? I mean, there's the pressures of it being one of, if not the most successful franchise in the world, So the pressures of, like I said, with the Star Wars being Star Wars. But what do you guys think? How did we get here?
Cold feet.
How did we get to Finn being
cold feet?
Not being a figurehead for black
and
people?
not being a force wielding Jedi guy, because that's what I wanted to see.
So I think this goes to the question that I wanted to ask, which was, I feel like, and we've talked about it before, on the Blerd bar, or maybe behind camera, or off camera rather, but the fact that all of the Jedi, or all of the human people, are usually white, right? You maybe see somebody else who's not white, but they're usually white. But all of the aliens usually have a characteristic about them, usually physical, that makes you think oh, they are a POC, but they made them
coded as.
Yeah. So the main thing that comes to my mind that we've talked about is Ahsoka, right? Ahsoka and
or Jar Jar Binks.
Or
now, why would you say that? Now that's poodoo, if I ever heard.
All right. So with Ahsoka and the Clone Wars, her characteristics, I'm pretty sure that's a POC. I'm not gonna say that she's black for sure, but she definitely got some melanin.
Oh, look at them lips.
I wasn't gonna say it. We've talked about it off camera, but yeah. So it was just one of those things where I was it's interesting that seems to be where POC come up, when there are literally others, right? They are othered. Mm-hmm. So how do we get here? I feel they kept testing the waters with like certain characters. Like, hey, how do you feel about her? Oh, you like Ahsoka? Cool. How you feel about Jar Jar? Mixed review. Oh, okay.
They don't mix reviews.
I think it depends on who you ask.
Well,
Don't ask me.
That has changed over the years. Like Ahmed Best and Jar Jar have gotten a little bit of a better. Since the kids who grew up watching the prequels are, they're really starting to come up. So it's feel like Jar Jar and Ahmed Best, who played him, are getting a better, starting to get some love now than they definitely were back when the prequels came out.
Oh man.
But yeah, how did we get here?
How did
America, man? It's just...
He's not wrong.
Well, and on that note, you all have a blessed night.
That's my line.
So, all right, well, Chris did it. So, all right, everybody, like, comment, subscribe.
But I think to answer that question in short, like you said, it's America. So, like, the fan base often isn't considering us, right? It's the 35-year-olds that still live in their mom's basement, $100K plus collections of Star Wars figurines, who know. No, not you, Chris. I said not us. Chris, I said not us.
No.
Chris, come back. Chris, come back.
Oh no.
I said not us, Chris. I said not us. You save more. You save here. But no, like, for real, like it's the people who would like live and breathe George Lucas's schedule, and know when he goes to get caught.
Chris, buddy, we need solidarity.
Maybe we should let Chris talk first. Let's Chris talk first.
I'm gonna let Chris. Yeah, I'm because apparently I'm attacking and I'm not trying.
No.
But that's how we got here. We got here with the sense that like they kept testing the waters with that fan base just to make sure it was safe to do anybody else's characters, right? Because they get nervous whenever
cosplay.
No, but they get nervous when like you change the mantle of a superhero. Call back to another episode, but it's just it's just a thing that happens with a fan base. If you change anything outside of their normal, then you're like, oh, we risk losing $100 million in ticket sales.
It's a fan base, because it some of them are not culturally ready to handle such a thing, which is another reason I think why we never got and maybe that it could have just been the way they wanted to write this relationship, but people were like, Finn and Rey should be a thing. They were also saying Finn and Poe should be a thing, which I'm like, well, yeah, either I don't give a fuck. But there's also globally, as far as selling this thing, like if you ever saw the poster for Force Awakens for China,
Yep.
Finn is, they minimized him like mad, and that's just it's also worldview and how we're also vilified around the world and whatnot. So so they were they had a tough I think Disney had a tough job trying to balance out how they're going to do this, and they kind of got they kind of got a little bit of cold feet as far as the Finn character goes. I tell you this, when the character was first made, the character's name was Sam, and the character was going to be played, or at least he was going to be played by Sam Witwer. And then I mean, some interview that he did on Collider, where he said, I was going to play that character who was named Sam, but then the parameters of the character changed, so now I'm not playing it anymore. So I don't know if it's if Boyega was picked because he was the best actor for the job, or there was like, no, we need to sprinkle some color in here. So let's let's find a good black actor or something. I don't know. There's with this fandom, I'm sorry, I don't mean to chew up all the time, but there are so many when after that movie came out, and if you were to look on like Collider or any of those kind of Star Wars channels at the time, everyone was Ray this, Ray that, Ray this, Ray that. I'm sitting back like, what about Finn? What about Finn?
What about
no
Finn?
one, like no one's talking about how he has. They were like, he got beat up by Kylo Ren, got his bike slashed. He's slashed up. He's nothing. He's a janitor. Like, apparently they don't know military life like that. And I'm not in the military, but when you're in the military, you do those jobs. That's just. But people are like, he's a janitor. Oh, doesn't carry around a mop. He's a nobody. He's nothing. And they're not seeing that. Yes, this kid is force sensitive. Mm-hmm. That his story is so compelling that he is the first live action actor that we have, character that we've seen take off, like the Stormtrooper helmet that wasn't Han or Luke in disguise. Mm-hmm. That's just it is such a compelling story to me, and they let it fly. I was about to give up on the fandom at this point, like just with all that stuff. I was still gonna love Star Wars. I'm still gonna give up on the fandom, but there was only one person, one YouTube channel, this dude named Prince from Urban Acolytes. He's the only person who was all about Finn, and he really started to educate people on why this character is so dope, and you need to pay attention to him. Ultimately, they didn't capitalize much on it outside of him Finn overcoming his fears and finding a place within the universe and all that kind of stuff. And they touched on his force sensitivity.
It was confirmed on screen. Now, I think I might be accepting scraps, but I'm like, we got it confirmed.
Ish.
But see, they did the same thing with Leia.
Yep.
In episode 5. Yeah.
In the first trilogy.
Yep.
And so, like you said, I feel like you kind of accept the scraps there, my guy. But
I think I might be.
But
standards.
But didn't they use those scraps in like the final trilogy? And apparently, she was training and stuff like that's how they got. And
that's why she was able to fly in space where there's no
right. Yeah,
gravity.
Exactly.
She wasn't flying though. She wasn't flying.
No, okay.
She pulled herself into that ship with
the force.
Yeah.
Yes, but there's also no gravity in space, so hence the flying.
Force don't care about gravity.
It's force. It's force, man.
Yeah, but
force be forcing.
I wasn't mad about the scene. There's a lot of other fans that mad about the scene. I wasn't mad. Yeah. But I think what's the next question? I'm not even going to do this to myself. I'm not going to do this to myself tonight. I'm not. I refuse to do that.
Do we think that Finn's character, or characters like Finn, I'll say, is it better for them to get a movie, or is it better for them to get a series?
I want Finn to have a series. For sure.
I think I wanted Finn to have a series. I don't think I want it anymore. I don't think it's necessary. I would rather us completely stay away from the Skywalker saga for the rest.
Oh, but see, that's why I said characters like Finn. I also agree that, I've been saying this from season 2 of the Blerd Bar, where it's just like, we need to get past all of that, like just hurry up. Like, Obi-Wan doesn't need a show. Sorry, he doesn't need a show.
You bugging.
That I disagree with you on, just because Obi-Wan is low-key a beast. He was a beast at the end of the prequel trilogy, and we just never talked about it, and that's the problem. That's why
no one could stop him with a lightsaber. No one.
Straight up.
Here's my thing. I'm not disagreeing with you guys. I'm not saying that Obi-Wan isn't the greatest to do it. I'm saying we don't need to see that. I would rather see new and more inventive stories.
I say this all the time, Chris. I say this all the time.
I am just one. I'm a very minute Star Wars fan. So this is just me.
Gotcha.
It's fine.
Gotcha.
But yeah,
then leave. No. Why are you here? Go.
No, Jayhawk, everyone's welcome. We're welcome at the Blerd Bar. Whether if you've watched everything through
Where you
Resistance.
Hey, come back, yo. Let him get up. Let him get up. Fight back.
Nah, but seriously, I wonder characters like Finn, and especially since like you said, Chris, he has such an impressive background story to like really delve into.
Yeah.
Like he's like I was gonna say what the Bad Batch should be, but
You saying a lot of words there, homie. That's a different podcast, Playboy.
I'm just saying, like, pero like why? Characters such as Finn, would it be better to have them in the series version, like Disney Plus? Because to Sterling's point, a lot of people, if you don't got Disney Plus, the only time you see in Star Wars is when it hits the movies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think it's safe to say, I mean, we started the episode with this hard truth that like most of the best writing of Star Wars is not in the movie format. The things that I love about the series format is literally the attention to details, all the reference. I'm a sucker for fan service, which is why I love the Bad Batch, because it's just everything's in there. But anyway, I love that even in the way how Finn started in episode 7 with like character. I feel like episode 8 was like really important to show his characteristics of like how caring he was and like how, I guess, passionate and headstrong he could be by the end of the movie, you know. And then in episode 9, we got like the interesting like, oh, he's not a Jedi, but somehow the Force is tied to the defeating of the brainwashing. You know, he met some other stormtroopers. He doesn't have to be a Jedi, but he's doing this. Right?
Yeah, and that's, you know, like, and people act like being a Jedi is the end all be all, and it's not. Like
Ahsoka definitely proves that.
I haven't been a fan of the Jedi since the prequels, and it's not a prequels thing. It is a. I just didn't like the Jedi after the prequels thing, and Order 66, they had it coming. I'm just saying.
Yo! Bro, that's.
I'm sorry.
Did Dan leave?
Is he talking crazy? This man is talking crazy. He's not wrong. He's out of line, but he's not wrong.
But like,
I'm sorry, I'm back. I don't know what happened. My mic went out. Nobody heard me talk. It was crazy.
Dan, you're into the EU, so you know what I'm saying when I say this. Finn should have been Kyle Katarn.
Okay. Please say more words. Please say more words.
Yeah, go ahead and explain. You know, like explain it to the casual fan that might preach up.
I am not a fan. Like I said, I'm not a fan of, you know, to be a Force user, you have to be a Jedi. The Jedi do not have a copyright on the Force. But to have a Force user who's not bound to their ideals and all that kind of stuff and can be his own person and carry a lightsaber, carry a blaster, and just be that dude. Like, yeah, Finn should have been the Kyle Katarn of the sequel trilogy, I think.
I like it.
See,
go ahead, Nate.
The problem with the Jedi has often been the same reason that the Avengers are always a step behind, and it's the sense of duty versus I don't even know, diligence. It would be kind of like duty versus diligence.
Duty versus do it.
Yeah, there you go. And so, I mean, they got torn down because they just thought they wouldn't be.
They got duped.
That hubris that they talk about is very much the reason. And I think part of me was kind of relieved that Finn wasn't on the path of a Jedi. Yes. At the same time, we saw when the last time a black man was on the Jedi, he was like, y'all sleeping, and I need y'all to wake up. He's like, fine, y'all not gonna do it. I mean, like, if you know the story behind like why Mace Windu's lightsaber is purple, and like the path that he took to even still be considered a Jedi Master was kind of like almost like, what's the affirmative action? It was kind of like, you a bad man, and we'd rather you be here than out in these streets.
Than out there?
Than out there in these streets.
Mace, he walked that fine line.
Yeah, very fine line.
It's like in his sword, in like his lightsaber forms and whatnot. Like he definitely did skirt it a little bit on the dark side a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think if we had gotten Finn on a Jedi path, we would have gotten a really weird do-goody that would have either made him corny to the black community, real vanilla, or if he did go in like the Cal Katarn kind of type character, then he would have been considered a villain, almost villainized to the movie storyline, because he would have been borderline antagonist, right? So I think to kind of bring our question back to the main question of the night, who failed Finn, right? I think it's just, I would almost go as far as to say that like the lack of understanding blackness, even in space, right? But just like the lack of Disney's corporation mindset of not fully understanding blackness is the reason why Finn would not have excelled either direction, and kind of the reason why we got who we got. Because Lando was straight up a criminal. Forget how you feel. He was a criminal.
He made a deal. He made a deal to keep the Empire out of here forever.
Are we talking about that? Because
that's a different episode. But I'm saying
that's another 30 minutes right there.
I'm talking about like when you look at like the plot details of who he is as a person. He's a criminal. He's a smuggler. He's made him big.
Yeah.
I'm about to say he's a scoundrel.
Yeah,
a criminal. When you look at the laws of how Star Wars operates, like of the Republic and all that, Bo was a criminal that just made it. And I think while we all, as black Star Wars fans, connected with that character, it was also kind of like, there they go again, giving us that, that thug that we can relate to.
Sort of, but
he's a highbrow thug.
In the eyes of galactic law, Han, Luke, Leia, Chewie,
yes,
they were all criminals. Every last one of them.
No. Those were freedom fighters.
True. Yeah. But not to the Empire.
Those were rebels against the cause. Those were not criminals.
Right.
Those were freedom fighters.
But as the story writing progressed, like after the Disney acquisition, you see that there are people who are like, no, the Empire's good. What they're doing, and to an extent they're right, because they brought law to a lot of lawless planets, and they gained a lot of loyalty through that. And when people see what these rebels are doing, these terrorists, they're seen in a different light. And if you think about it, to them, Luke Skywalker, thanks to Jyn Erso and her team, killed millions of loyal Imperials
twice
in one shot. And then Lando killed the rest in the second Death Star. So, he did. So, they're all criminals. They're all filthy terrorists.
Filthy. Here's a question: Is the bigger, because of the way that you guys have deep dived into the story of Finn, and there's a lot of nuance, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like, though, especially when Star Wars first came out, I'm not saying that it can't change. I'm not saying that it shouldn't change. I think it should. But when it first came out, Star Wars was very much, at least in my mind, a very much cut and dry good versus evil. Right?
Yeah.
Jedis were good, evangelistic. Psych, just kidding, but not. But like they were.
He's not completely wrong.
They were the good guys, right?
Right.
So for Finn to become like the good guy in this now nuanced world, what does that even look like? I think it goes back to what you guys are saying, where it's like, now it's vanilla. Now, like this isn't what we wanted. But this goes back, I feel, to what I'm saying, where it's like, if we could just get past, like hey George, you built a fantastic sandbox. This is a great sandbox. It's expansive. We can do whatever we want. We can play around. If they could actually get out of George Lucas's side of the sandbox and just play, I think we could get interesting things.
It's starting to happen.
Yeah,
It's definitely starting to happen. They really had to get past the Skywalker saga to do so. They had to do that and put a cap on that before they could really go out. Like we're about to see Star Wars Visions, the anime Star Wars thing, and it's like that's dope. Mando has been amazing.
Mando has been amazing,
and what they're about to do with Boba. And that's going to link into, of course, since it's all in universe, but link into what the events of what's going down in War of the Bounty Hunters, in that comic series. Now, when you think about that last shot from the season 2 of Mando, where we get our introduction to the Book of Boba Fett, and you and if you read the I think it's the first issue of War of the Bounty Hunters, where Bib Fortuna is conversing with Boba and back and forth and whatnot. I'm like, oh yeah, he did something. That's why he shot him without even saying a word to him.
Not one word.
When he came in. So
one sight.
Yeah. So some of that's got a link too, and with Bad Batch, with what's going on now that we find out that who Alpha is, and Alpha is Boba Fett, and Omega is of course Omega. There's so many things that they're doing to step away from what George has done, but Dave Filoni is in charge of all this, and Dave Filoni is pretty much what I call the George away from George. So he is standing on George's shoulders. I think he's going to take it to the next level where he's got a foundation in being taught by George, but he's going to take it to a
Are you telling me
level.
that I should watch the Bad Batch?
You should watch.
He didn't even let you finish.
You should watch the Bad Batch. You should read the High Republic. You should read the comics. You should read or listen to the novels. I swim in. Well, I was about to cuss again. I swim in this stuff, man. Like I love me some Star Wars. I swim in that poodoo. I love it. But yeah, and Charles Soule, who's a writer who's an amazing writer. He's a writer on High Republic, and he's writing the War of the Bounty Hunters. And if you haven't read it yet, he wrote a miniseries for Lando that is incredible.
It was very good.
And this is the first time we've been, at least to my knowledge, that we've been given some real good character as far as Lobot goes. His the bald dude with the thing. So yeah, we got a lot of that, which adds a lot more depth to Lando. Charles Soule is like War of the Bounty Hunters. He's writing a trilogy right now within Star Wars, and War of the Bounty Hunters is the first. Then in December starts Crimson Reign. That also deals with the Crimson Dawn in the aftermath of whatever happens with War of the Bounty Hunters. And there's another one after that. So we're getting a lot of stuff that's within the era of the Skywalker saga, but not so much, deep-seated in it. So it could be its own thing. Taika Waititi's got some Star Wars project that he's working on, which I'm pretty sure is going to be bananas and bonkers. And I'm not even a big fan of Thor Ragnarok, but I think he will do a good. I'm saying it's goofy, but
I'm gonna stop you right there, and I'm gonna ask a question so Big Dan doesn't get upset.
I'm sorry.
We welcome you into our house.
That's how you talk to us.
I'm just saying.
It's the liberties.
What?
The liberties you take.
I guess my question is, moving forward, or with anything that we see, because of who failed Finn and why they failed him. What? Not to say that, Chris, you speak for all black people, but
speaker of black people,
right?
What is your wisdom?
What do you think black people who are fans of Star Wars, black rebels, what do you think they want and need moving forward?
I just need I would want for black characters to not be characterized as such, to and just it's like, all right, I'm a pro wrestling fan. All right, so like in WWE, and I don't even watch WWE anymore, but when they have black wrestlers, they're the black wrestler. Whereas you got someone like Randy Orton who is a wrestler, and he's got his character and all that kind of stuff, but he's a wrestler. That's the kind of stuff that I want for Star Wars, and we're getting that. Like, unfortunately, we're getting, like, for people who only watch the movies or the Disney Plus series and stuff, we're getting those kind of characters in Star Wars. It's just that it's in literature.
Yep, the High Republic.
High Republic.
We everywhere in the High Republic. Yeah,
you can't throw a rock without hitting a person of color in the High Republic, and it's dope.
But I absolutely love that they all. It's always the hair. They describe Belle's locks. You see Tree with the undercut, but she got the curls, and it's just like it's not like the racially ambiguous. It's like, no, he black.
Yeah, but I mean that's the thing. Like there's so many people of color in High Republic, and definitely I thank Kevin Scott for that and Charles Soule for that, and especially Daniel Jose Older for that.
And Justina Ireland holding it down.
Absolutely. Yes. Daniel Jose Older made a character named Ram Jamaram. I don't know if you ever seen, like, when I'm on Twitter and whatnot, because I go back and forth with him. That character looks like me at 19, and that was that's the first time that's ever happened. Like, man, I'm in there I am at 19, of course, but there I am in Star Wars, and it's great to see. I can't wait for the day that High Republic stuff is made into live action or animation or something like that, so we can really see ourselves out there, and not as smooth talking Lando Calrissian and all that kind of stuff. Like just.
Hey, Billy D was king though.
I think he was amazing.
He literally
Billy.
came on screen and was like, "That's jazz, baby. It's about them smuggles you don't take." And I'm like,
my favorite thing. I feel like they're like, "Hey, Billy, do you want to be late?" He was like, "Yes." He was everywhere. He was in Resistance. He was in the Lego. He was in literally every single thing.
Yeah. They gonna put. Yeah, I'm glad they put. I'm glad they put him in the sequel trilogy. Third one. He could have had him in from the beginning, but they probably would have killed him off if he was in the other ones. But but
Will we ever see a black Padawan story?
We are.
Yeah, Bell Zettifar.
You are currently seeing
Bell
that
Zettifar.
in High Republic.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, will we ever see?
Oh,
it sounds like we were reading that.
See, I'm more on the other. I feel like I'm on the other side of it because I feel like because Disney has to market to everybody, right? You kind of. I would love to be like Chris and Sterling and be like, yeah, I want to see enough black people to where black people isn't the thing. Like that's not the adjective that we have to be addressed by, right? Like you'd be like, oh, that's such and such. Like names versus their adjective. Right. But the problem is when you have such an expansive fan base and your primary fan base is the 45-year-olds living in their mom's basement on the Blerd.
I love my mom, but
No, I understand. But like they're like in every forum they're in, like they're the ones that send the death threats to John Boyega because he did hold the lightsaber. Like they would send. I remember reading one of them. I think it was like, "Where do you get off holding Luke Skywalker's lightsaber?" And I'm like, "Huh?
That was a thing, yeah,
dude. Like, do you understand? Like, it's a movie. Like,
these are fictional characters."
Well, it's like but like people have it's like some of these people don't know what it's like to not see themselves on screen, where it's such a regular thing to them. Like it's so ingrained, they have no idea what that's like. So they're like, they see us and we get so happy about it, like with the Black Panther movie or something like that.
We can't have fun.
They're like, what are you so happy about? It's just a movie. Like someone said that to me.
Right.
A friend of mine was sitting next to me, who, he's still a friend of mine, but it was kind of stupid what he said. We're watching the 2008 election. We're watching the results of the 2008 elections. And the minute that Barack Obama was elected, I was like, just waterworks. You know what I mean? He's like, what are you so happy about? It's just another president. And I'm like, bro, you do not get it. You don't get it.
You need to leave.
Yeah. If you ask, then I can't tell you.
Right.
You gotta ask.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be the same. It would just it would be nice to one day not have to worry about that. But I
Yes.
also understand that, like, I would not be surprised if like an X-wing fighter jet pulled us alongside of Finn and was like, "Hey, license and registration, please." Like, I would not be surprised just because
Happened to Mando. It happened to Mando. He's
Exactly.
brown.
Exactly. And so I'm just like, once we can get away from that and normalize just like people being people and existing.
The
or
tints on your
animals,
Millennium
it's-
Falcon are a
it's-
bit too dark, sir. The tints on your
Exactly.
Millennium Falcon are a bit too dark. Please pull over.
Who's that?
Or-
Who's that
or
Falcon
you-
registered to?
Or if they finally like investigate the death of the Padawans and now that Finn's fingerprints are on the lightsaber.
Oh, no. All right, so we've reached
How did
the
you
end
go
of the
back in time? How did you go back in time 60 years and do that? Explain
We
this to
opened
me.
up the case. We had to reopen the case. Law and Order, Star Wars.
Dun, dun.
We have reached the end of the episode.
Definitely have. We definitely have.
And we've
But
answered the
I
question.
think that they have to make big deals out of this until it's not a big deal. Like big deal for Black people and the Asian people. Any other person of color, any other sexual orientation. Gay, trans, all that stuff. Like a sort of a big deal needs to be made out of it until, and it needs to keep happening. It needs to keep being put in there until it's not a big deal, and it's just the way it is.
Right.
I'm with it. I hope that we get to that point.
We will.
Very,
gotta keep being loud
very
about it.
slowly. Yeah.
Gotta keep being loud about it. But we reached the end of the episode. We posed the question, who failed Finn? And I think we got a lot of great answers. We want to hear your answers in the comment section after you like, comment, subscribe. Thank you very, very much. Chris, tell people where they can find you, my guy.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram and on Facebook under the extra exciting name Chris Ryons. That's my handle and everything. Yeah.
Links will be in the description.
And you can find me also at Broaxium on Instagram and Facebook. I'm sorry, Instagram and Twitter and on YouTube, of course. So check us out and hit that subscribe button and see what we got going on.
Thank
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And buy a sweatshirt.
And buy a
Thank you very much.
Sweatshirt.
Good
Feed
night,
the algorithm gods. Like, comment, and share.
Yeah. Y'all have a blessed night.